Alan Watts, the great philosopher, once said that the real key to living a meaningful life isn't in how much control you have, but rather in how much you are willing to let go. This perspective, often misunderstood, forms the core of many of his teachings. His wisdom extends far beyond theoretical discussions. It touches upon the everyday struggles of being human, such as our desire for control, our relationship with pain, and the complex between love and freedom. Let us explore these powerful spiritual rules, inspired by Watts's philosophy, and consider how they can reshape the way we live. Rule number 1. Freedom is the foundation of love. Alan Watts famously stated, "Love is not something to be commanded or compelled. If love requires control, it ceases to be love. It becomes attachment or dependence, neither of which fosters true connection. At its core, love must be free, and only in freedom can genuine love exist. The moment you try to bind love or force its hand, you are no longer nurturing a living connection, but rather grasping at something that was never yours to possess. Freedom is not just the space you give to others, but also the space you allow for yourself. If you are constantly seeking validation, clinging to people or situations in fear of losing them, then you aren't allowing yourself to experience real love. The courage to let go, to allow love to ebb and flow naturally, is vital. When there is no risk, there is no freedom, Watts reminds us. Without freedom, love is reduced to a transactional relationship, an exchange of dependency, rather than an authentic bond. This rule of freedom in love extends beyond romantic relationships. It applies to friendships, family, and even your relationship with the world. Only when you accept that everything is transient, that people and circumstances will come and go, can you begin to experience the purity of love. It is in letting go that you make space for love to grow in its own time and shape. Rule number 2. Pain is a teacher, not an enemy. We live in a culture that tells us to avoid pain at all costs. Whether it's through distractions, addictions, or numbing behaviors, we are often taught that pain is something to be shunned. But Watts offers a radically different perspective. Pain is part of the universe waking up to itself. It is not merely something to endure or escape. It is a signal, a compass pointing us in the direction of growth and understanding. Pain, in this view, becomes a teacher rather than an enemy. Instead of viewing discomfort as something to run away from, we should embrace it as a guide. Just as physical pain alerts us to injury, emotional and spiritual pain reveals areas in our lives that need attention, healing, or change. Ignoring or numbing that pain doesn't solve the underlying issues. It merely prolongs our suffering by keeping us stuck in cycles of avoidance. This idea resonates deeply when you consider the broader arc of your life. Every moment of pain, whether emotional, physical, or existential, carries within it the seed of transformation. By acknowledging pain rather than suppressing it, you invite growth into your life. This doesn't mean seeking out suffering, but rather accepting that discomfort is an inevitable part of the human experience, and crucially, one that has much to teach us. Watts's advice to keep your eyes on the bandaged wound is a reminder that healing doesn't come from pretending everything is okay. Instead, it comes from confronting your pain, understanding its roots, and allowing the light of awareness to guide you through it. Pain is not an obstacle. It is a doorway to deeper wisdom. Rule number 3. Understanding resolves problems. In many ways, the greatest challenges in life are not external, but internal. Watts believed that the majority of our problems stem from a lack of understanding. If a problem can be solved, he argued, understanding it and knowing what to do are often the same thing. In other words, clarity of thought and insight can often dissolve even the most complex dilemmas. This rule is profound because it highlights the importance of self-reflection and awareness. Too often, we rush to fix things before truly understanding them. Whether it's a relationship issue, a career dilemma, or a personal crisis, we are conditioned to focus on solutions rather than the underlying causes. Watts encourages us to slow down, to sit with our problems, and to really understand their roots before attempting to solve them. Life, according to Watts, is much like a creative process. First, you live and make mistakes. Then, you reflect on those experiences, learn from them, and apply the lessons to future challenges. It's a cycle of growth and development that requires patience, introspection, and most importantly, self-awareness. The beauty of this approach is that it shifts the focus from external problem-solving to internal understanding. You are not simply trying to fix your life, you are engaging with it, learning from it, and evolving through it. When you fully understand a problem, when you see its origins and implications, solutions often arise naturally. This is why practices like journaling, meditation, and quiet contemplation are so valuable. They help you sift through the noise of daily life, untangle your thoughts, and gain the clarity needed to move forward. Understanding is the first step to resolution, and without it, any attempt at fixing your life will be superficial at best. Rule number 4. Love is the source of true happiness. Watts was a strong advocate for the idea that happiness is not something you achieve by accumulating wealth, status, or external success. Instead, true happiness arises from love, the kind of love that is rooted in acceptance, compassion, and a deep connection with life itself. To be afraid of life is to be afraid of yourself, he said, highlighting the intrinsic link between self-love and happiness. This rule speaks to the heart of what it means to live a fulfilled life. In a world that often feels overwhelming and chaotic, it's easy to become cynical or disillusioned. But Watts reminds us that the more we fear or hate the world, the more we turn that negativity inward. Conversely, the more we cultivate love for the world, for its beauty, its complexity, its unpredictability, the more we cultivate love for ourselves. Happiness in this sense is not about avoiding difficulties or seeking constant pleasure. It's about embracing life in all its forms, with all its ups and downs, and maintaining a sense of love and compassion through it all. When you love the world, even when it challenges you, you tap into a deeper well of happiness that is not contingent on external circumstances. The paradox here is that the more you open yourself to love, the more you expose yourself to potential pain. But this is where the earlier rule about pain as a compass comes into play. Pain and love are not opposites. They are two sides of the same coin. By embracing both, you allow yourself to experience life in its fullness. And through that experience, you find happiness that is both profound and enduring. Alan Watts's teachings are not about escaping the world or transcending it. They are about embracing it fully, its joys, its sorrows, its uncertainties, and living in harmony with the natural rhythms of life. By following these spiritual rules, you can begin to see life not as a series of problems to be solved, but as a continuous, flowing process of growth and discovery. Freedom, pain, understanding, and love. These are not just abstract concepts. They are practical guides for living a better life, one that is aligned with your true nature and the greater universe. The more you integrate these principles into your daily existence, the more you will find yourself living with a sense of peace, purpose, and joy that transcends the superficial concerns of the world. Watts invites you to step into this space of awareness and connection, where life becomes less about striving and more about being. I hope you enjoyed watching my video. If you're still with me, please leave a comment on what you learned or what you would like to add. I would appreciate it. As always, wishing you a beautiful day.